Hi, everybody. Guess what? It's another time. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Tish Talks Tech. I am your host, 𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, and we have with us today a fantastic guest with us today, Mandar Panse. Oh my goodness. Welcome, Mandar.
Hi everyone.
Welcome,
Hi
welcome,
Leticia.
welcome. I am so happy that you are here.
Me too. Me too.
It is, we have weathered the storms. We have rescheduled, and due to the storms in my area, uh, and I was so bummed out about that. But I am so happy that you were able to fit me into your schedule. And thank you
I
so
think I
much for
should
coming.
I should thank you because you also fit me into your schedule. So I think it's a very good opportunity for me to be on your podcast, and
You
I'm
you're
I'm excited.
you're the best. I am going to. I know that chat may be here, and so I'm going to open it up just in case we have some folks that are on today and tuning in. Look, you are an IBM champion, and I am just pleased as punch to have you on today. There are things that you have done that a lot of folks have not mastered. And the reason why I wanted you on, first of all, we have a mutual acquaintance, John Carr.
Yes.
And I want to know, how did you meet John Carr? Let's talk about that first.
So I work for my current employer, which is One Main Financial, and John was working as a consultant to the same employer, and we happened to be on the same team where we were working on an assignment, and that's how I got in touch with John. And man, I think I learned a lot of things from him. So he's awesome, man. So
He is
that's
like,
how, yeah.
yeah, the constant educator, isn't he?
Yes. So that's how we got in touch, and I think since then uh, we are in touch through chat messages. Once a while uh, we call each other, but yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then I know him through the Champions program, and uh, he had recommended you and said you have to meet Mandar.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, that sounds fun. Let's go. And I've been nothing but impressed. Your posts are amazing. The work that you do is phenomenal, and the story, the journey of your career, hands down, is so impressive. And I think anybody that is looking to grow their career, looking to learn, would benefit from following what you did or trying to emulate what you did. Can you tell us, excuse me, how did you get the bug for wanting to learn tech?
So it started like I was doing my bachelor's in computer science, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when I got an opportunity to be selected for training uh, in one of the big IT company, and they had to like they had an aptitude test where you need to go through that test, and then they select whoever clears certain threshold. They select those candidates and put them in the training program. So that's how I got into a training program. And you know what, they put me on a training of mainframe. And at that time,
Oh.
I never heard, before that I never heard mainframe. Okay. Uh,
Really?
yeah,
It was like silent the whole
yeah,
time.
yeah. So they put me there for 2 months, and I had to shift from my hometown to other city back in India.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there, but then I realized that okay, I also want to do my master's degree. So I thought, okay, that was my last year of bachelor's. I was going into master's first year. Then I came to know that that company was not going to support me to do my master's as well as the job. So I thought, okay, let's not get into the job right now. And this is a story between 2004 or 2005, around that time.
Okay.
Uh, then I quit there. I went back to college. I started my master's. Then another company came for recruitment in our college. And I said, okay, that is my local company to my local town. I said, okay, let me try here because I wanted to get into job uh, for sure. So I attended their test, I got clear, and then they put me again for 2 months training. But this time that training was in the same city as my home was. So I didn't have to move anywhere. So I said, okay, let's give it a try. I attended 2 months of training, that also in mainframe. And the funny thing was when I got into mainframe training, I cleared it. I had so many other friends who were doing open source technologies, like Java was on, like, it was a big in those days, right?
Okay.
So they were telling me that, hey, don't go in the mainframe. It's a old technology. Like, it's
Blasphemy.
I have heard that many times in my career.
Yes.
I realize that that's not old technology. What it does today, I
Yeah.
think it's amazing. So I said, okay, maybe that's what I'm expected to do. So I continued with my job, and my first job was to do 8 to 9 BMS maps, 30 to 70 maps in a day. I started that, uh, and then slowly I move on to my into my career. I started working for TransUnion, uh, not as a direct employee, but through as a consultant.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked on their credit report generation app, where we used to generate all those segments which contains public records, all the information of the customer, right?
Right.
So I worked on that project for almost 4 years, 3 years and 10 months, and then I thought, okay, now it's time for me to move on with new opportunity. So I moved on to the Sears Holding, which is a retail shop.
Mm-hmm.
They had a mainframe as one of their technology that they were using for
Mm-hmm.
their price management system. So I was there for 4 months, but then I realized that uh, that's not what I want to do. I want to be more on financial side rather than on the retail side. Then I again moved to the another employer. Uh, that time I got a opportunity to work for First Data as a consultant through my employer. And you know what? I spent 5 years, yeah, exactly 5 years in First Data. That
Mm-hmm.
was a very good experience for me to work on credit underwriting system where you check customers' creditworthiness. And I
Mm-hmm.
got to work with decision engines. Got to work with credit bureaus, how communications between applications and credit bureaus work, how communication between decision engine and application work. So all those that exposure I got in those 5 years in First Data. Then in 2015 I joined my current employer, which is One Main Financial. And here also I got to work with an amazing team, which again, our application was similar to what I was doing in First Data, which
Mm-hmm.
is checking credit worthiness. So we communicated with credit bureaus, we talked to decision engines. So all my 17, I will be completing 18 years in the IT industry this month, sorry, next month. And out of those 18, I have worked on 11 to 12 years on credit underwriting applications. So that's how I got to where I am. And uh, one thing I definitely want to mention is I always come across some amazing people which helped me to grow in my career, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that is also a big part why where I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's how it is.
And you say it so eloquently, so smoothly. Like it was just this walk in the park, Mandar. And I think that's why I love your story so much, because everything that I read about you was so well thought out, and it just looked like it was a plan, and it looked as if, you know, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try this portion of the mainframe. I'm going to learn this portion. I'm going to apply it. And then I'm going to move forward. And it is just an amazing feat. Amazing. I know that, mainframe is not easy.
Yeah.
Mainframe is not easy. That's why there's complete teams that work on each portion of it. And that's
Yes.
why I try to tell people that are new, that are coming in,
Yes.
but it can be done.
Yeah.
And you are one of the heroes that are making it happen and giving back all the time. And I love it. I love to see it. During this career, this learning portion, I want to stress, and I hope that people understand. I'm looking at school, going back to school, starting, stopping. I'm looking at not one, but two training programs, probably more in between, that we're not really even counting, because I'm sure that there was conferences, possibly mini conferences that you may have attended, and then on top of that, there was major jobs, consultancies that you had done.
Yeah.
Sears is not easy. That's huge.
Yeah.
Still in existence, by the way, if you guys don't know. TransUnion is humongous.
Yes.
And then where you are right now.
Yes.
During all of that time, when you describe it, you still describe it as training. You still describe it as learning.
Yes.
Can you talk about continuous learning and how it is that you grow every day, so that folks understand that even though you are good at what you do, you are continuously learning?
Yes.
Help us to appreciate that.
So, like I said, I started my career by working on an application where I was supposed to only develop BMS maps. I didn't know what goes behind it, how those work. I was only trained on how to create BMS map. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But then after creating those BMS map for 1 month or so, I thought, okay, I'm creating this, but how are we using it? Because some other people were doing all the back end work to get those maps working.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I got into okay, what I need to do to learn those things that I can be more productive, right? Uh, so I got to learn that from my peers, senior team members, and uh, then I started learning CICS, right? You have to have a CICS knowledge to make those BMS map work. And I really like the way CICS works, right? You you can do ton of things in CICS that I think most of the people haven't even scratched the surface of CICS. So I feel
Tell us
like
what you really think, Mandar.
yes. So that's how I got into a CICS application. Then I was okay. I was doing good with creating maps, writing COBOL programs to get those maps working and all that stuff, right? Then I came into a project which doesn't have a map, but it has a CICS. And I was like, okay, how does that work? And then I realized that, okay, you can make your CSS application communicate with some other applications in front end and pass the data, process it, and send the data back. Whether you use MQ, whether you use web services, or any other mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that opened me another door, other than VMS map. That hey, this is the real time application processing. Nobody is entering an application on 3270 screen. Somebody is entering it in some other web based application sitting somewhere in the cloud or maybe on-prem server, but your mainframe application is going to process it. And that made me very happy that hey, I'm going to learn something new now. And that's how I kept learning new things in CICS. So initially I used to only do vanilla CICS programming. you
Mm-hmm.
you accept data, you process it, you're not going outside the mainframe to pull any data.
Mm-hmm.
Then in my next opportunity I got to communicate with data sources, third party data sources. uh, so that's how I grew up in my CICS journey. And then in since 2015 I got to work on a lot of web services, how to communicate using web services, because nowadays everybody is going uh, through API enablement. So I was like, okay, if we have to be in market, we need to know all these things. So that's how I started learning, and I think that's how I am here. So, and not just CICS, I think I would say, like, even though I'm a mainframe programmer, I would say I'm equally interested in learning other technologies like JavaScript, Python, Java. In 2010 and 2015 duration, I also led the Java-based application team, which was doing the similar thing what my team was doing on mainframe, like credit underwriting. So I understand how Java also works. So as long as you keep learning new things, you don't have to master all the things, but at least you need to learn. It will keep you competent in the market.
Yes. Yes. That I am so excited for you. I feel like the things that you're saying are going to rescue, and I know that's a really strong word, but I believe that it's the word that needs to be said. I feel like that the things that you're saying are going to rescue a lot of people, because folks are out here trying to learn the programs, trying to get where they need to be, and sometimes they underestimate themselves, right?
Yeah.
And they don't really see the forest for the trees, and they say, oh, I'm not sure. But you have to do like what you're saying, get excited for your challenges.
Yeah.
And really getting excited for those challenges, applying what you learn and practicing those things regularly will get you over the hump, so you can be able to move on
Yes.
and get better, right?
Yes.
I want to ask you about how you transfer your skills from distributed to mainframe, because you have like this entire big time software engineer skill set that a lot of folks don't have, like packages that many people don't even code.
Yeah.
Like this polyglot of coding that you've got. Can you tell us how did you transfer all of those skills to mainframe? Was it worth it?
It was other way. I worked majority of my time on mainframe, and then I learned all these technologies. So the thing
So it
was,
was the other way around.
sorry.
It was the other way around then.
Yeah, yeah. The reason was like, as I said, in 2010 and 2015, that duration, I was leading a team which was it was a credit underwriting application developed in Java for
Mm-hmm.
Europe, Middle East, and of Asian continent. And because I was leading that application, I felt like, okay, I need to know what's going on in the application, just in case if I have to be on a call, incident call, or something like that, I should be able to speak to that. And
Yeah.
that's how my Java journey started. I did courses on Java, then I did some hands-on, not for the work, but I did it hands-on on my own, and that's how I learned whatever I know about Java. And that's when I felt like, okay, even though you are on the mainframe doesn't mean you need to constrain yourself to mainframe. You can learn
Right.
other technologies, you can do your mainframe on job, but you can continue learning all the new technologies that are coming in the market. And that's when I started learning all the new things, like you say Python, JavaScript, Java. And then like in early 2015, 2016, there was a data science boom, right? And I thought, okay, I at least need to know what that is. I don't need to master it, but at least I need to know, because I had a good experience with working with decision engines. And decision engines is nothing but data science. They build a
Mhm.
models, put it in the decision engine, and we use them. So I was like, okay, if I'm using it, I need to know what goes in. And that's how I started learning data science. So the bottom line is, even though you are a mainframe programmer, you don't need to constrain yourself to mainframe. You can explore all other things and enrich your knowledge.
Enrich your knowledge.
Yes.
If you were here, I'd give you a high five right now.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Uh, I need to know. We have a lot of folks that are just, you know, they say, "Oh no, we aren't going to do any other language on the mainframe, right? No other languages on the mainframe. Mainframe's only going to do this language."
Yeah.
But mainframe can handle how many languages, Mandar?
I think I don't think there is anything that mainframe cannot do, right?
Say
Uh,
it again for the people in the back.
yeah. And I really mean it, because I have an experience running Node.js on mainframe. Uh, I know running Python on mainframe.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have to just talk about these two languages, because I know nowadays you go data science, you will use Python. You go web development, you will use JavaScript. I
Yeah.
know there are many other languages also,
Right.
but I can talk about those two that I know for sure you can use it on mainframe. In
And they
addition,
work well.
yeah,
Yeah.
you will never know this is, if you develop a web app on mainframe, consumer will never know a difference that it is running on mainframe or on distributed platform. It is that smooth.
I love it.
So I think if I have an opportunity, I will definitely explore to see if is there any other language other than Java, Python, and JavaScript that can run on mainframe. But I'm sure there are a lot of languages that can run on mainframe.
That's awesome. And you know, people come to you when they need help. You are like the solutions expert. And
Uh,
yes, you are. You can't sit here and say you're not. And can you tell, can you, okay, can you just talk about some of the things that you do to make things better? Just a little bit.
so one of the thing I definitely want to say is automation, right? If usually we run into situation where, hey, we have a batch job and somebody who is not a part of mainframe team needs to consume that bad batch job, needs to process that, and there is no automation for that. Okay, so they have to reach out to the team who owns that bad job, request them that, hey, can you run it this at this time, and it will run for 2 hours. Then somebody has to monitor and then tell them that, hey, it was successful, then they'll do whatever they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that we don't have to always sit around and help them to submit batch jobs, right? So
Take too long.
I figured out that you can build a small automation uh, which can trigger, like a client application can trigger a shell script on mainframe which can submit that job for them. We don't have to sit around and wait just to submit that job. So that is one thing. I think there are a lot of things like this, but I think that is a common scenario in mainframe world. If somebody wants to do something, some processing on mainframe, whether it's for testing purpose or whether it's just for one time, it doesn't matter. But you can have this type of automation, and that helps you to show what you can do it on mainframe. Plus, it saves your time, right?
Mm-hmm. And there was something else that you do with time that I was reading, and there was something else. You there's something else that you do with time with the CPU usage, and I was reading.
Yeah, I think we should always monitor. See, when I was a application developer,
Uh huh.
my first thing was I want to keep my system uh, efficient, right? I don't want to run one transaction for which is consuming 2 seconds,
Yeah,
because even though 2 seconds sounds small, but from CICS perspective, it is a
it
big deal.
adds up.
Yeah. So I always think that whoever is mainframe application developer, their first priority should be making sure that system is efficient. Wherever we can cut down that consumption, we should, by any means. When I say by any means, I'm not saying don't run your application. What I'm saying is make it efficient, implement efficient logic, reduce the time. It helps your organization, it helps your system, and it helps your productivity also.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think that was why I created that watch for you on your YouTube on your YouTube thumbnail, because I've heard the legendary stories about your um, time saving uh, solutions, and
Mhm.
I've heard that you are the master of time,
Mhm.
and so hats off to you, Mandar.
Thank you.
And you are the person to call for such solutions.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you a very important question, because I think for our audience today, they really want to know this. How does a person learn, okay, some of these skills? And I want to talk about specifically um, the basic mainframe skills. If you had it to do all over again from scratch, knowing what you know today, where would you direct them first?
Uh, like I said, if I look at my journey, which started with BMS map, I would start there itself, because that gives you an idea. Uh, because BMS maps are nothing but assembler language. Okay,
Mm,
so that gives you an idea that how assembler language maps communicate with COBOL, right? So
mm,
to develop assembler language maps, Then I would move on to learning basic COBOL, right? Data
Mm-hmm.
types, statement, if and else, all those things. And then I will move on to some in detail COBOL training, where you can write a small programs. You don't have to go like a big with the big programs from the start. You can write small. We have always heard that open systems always have a hello world program. You can write that hello world in COBOL, right?
Right.
Whether you run it through batch or CICS, I would first go with batch, because for CICS you need a lot of other knowledge, how to set up a transaction and how to call that. So I would go with batch. So before, so like batch, you need to know JCL. So you need to start there also, creating first basic JCL program, JCL file, call your program, how you pass the parameters to the program if you need to. So that would be my first suggestion. And
Mm-hmm.
once you have a handle on this, good hands on this, uh, I would move on to learning CICS, right? DB2 is another big animal, I would say. There is a
What
lot.
type of animal is it?
I say
Lion,
like,
tiger, or bear?
I say like it's a very good database.
Yeah.
You should always learn uh, if you're a mainframe programmer, and
Mm-hmm.
I would say you should master it, because you'll see most of the applications use DB2.
Yep.
I know there are some which uses VXAM datasets as a databases, but and now since DB2 has evolved so much, it gives you a lot of different uh, functionalities that you can utilize. So, but learning DB2 itself is a different thing. You will have to spend a lot of time understanding the structure of database and everything. But for me, if I have to tell somebody, I would go with BMS map, JCL, for just as a data temporary database knowledge. I would go with VZAM, then COBOL, and then I will move on to CICS and DB2. So CICS, it also has a lot of things you can do. You don't always have to be in COBOL as a programming language in CICS. You can run Java in CICS. You can uh, extract data calling Java. You can call Java externally to trigger something in CICS. So there are a lot to learn about that. But to start with, just learn basic things and
Mm-hmm.
get yourself familiar with uh, these technologies. Once you are familiar with these technologies, then you can move on to some advanced technologies.
And is it a sprint or is it a marathon to learn these technologies?
I I think you have to keep learning no matter how much time you spend, because today also uh, I have been working in CSS almost how much 16, 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there must be something that I I either I can do better, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know at all, and I'll get to learn it. So learning is always going to be there, no matter how much time you spend.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Are there any learning resources that you would recommend for individuals? And if, you know, if you just say go Google it, that's cool too. But are there any learning resources that you would recommend for individuals to kind of look into?
So I think there was one IBM mainframe book. I forgot the who was the author of it, but I used to refer that book. And other than that, I would say it's just a hands-on. You just have to keep trying, and
Mm-hmm.
then Google is always there to help, right?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I think nowadays IBM has that Z trial where you
Mm-hmm.
can use some of their products uh, and like with the expiry, like it expires one access in 1 month or so. So that
Yeah.
is also a good resource if you want to try something and see how it works. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's like the IBM Z skills build where they can log in. I know that IBM's been doing a lot of stuff right now
yes.
for trying to boost people to learn stuff. Just come out and learn. It's out in the open. It's in the air.
Another thing that helped me a lot was, and thanks to my current employer, that they helped me attend share conference twice,
Yep.
and I was amazed by attending those two conferences. So
Yeah.
definitely, I would say, like, if you get an opportunity to attend those conferences, don't miss that chance, because you will get to see a lot of people who has
Mhm.
been in this space for more than how much you are, right?
Right.
And they are doing a lot of cool things that they are presenting it. You will get to see those, and that's another thing which can motivate you, right?
We love that.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing, right? It's almost like um, getting uh, it's like getting refreshment, and now you're able to sustain and move forward because you're like, oh yeah, that's a brand new idea. I want to try that. You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
share is really cool.
Yeah. I really like share conference.
Yeah.
Uh, I attended one in Philadelphia and one in Fort Wayne. Uh, I was like flattened with the content that they present there. Uh, I got to talk to a lot of people who has done some cool things. Uh, for an example, I can give you that uh, in one of the session I attended, which was conducted by Walmart, and
Love Smart.
they talked about how they are using CICS web services in their shop. So that was one of the motivating factor for me, that hey, we can also do that, right? Uh,
Hmm.
it's just the matter of how you approach it. Once you know that hey, this can be done, but how? So you have to spend time. On other side, I would say you have to make a good relations with your system engineers, because ultimately you're not going to have access to do all the things that are needed. So you have to
Right.
have them on board, communicate with them. You need to know how to explain your idea so that they will buy in and they will support you. So those things also equally critical, I would say. And again, you researching things and learning things on your own is the first thing I would say is very critical if you want to keep learning.
To keep learning.
Yeah.
Go to conferences, learn from other people,
Yes.
rise to the challenge, continuously learn,
Yes.
and and reach out and stay humble with your coaches and mentors. How do you engage others so that your networking skills stay sharp?
Uh, I would not say my networking skills are too sharp, but
Oh, please. You
I
know a lot of folks.
yes. So I have like in my current employment as well as in my previous one, I was lucky enough to be part of the crew, even though it was a system engineers or application developers, but they were open. Like whenever you had any questions, you can easily approach them, talk to them, your ideas. They might throw your ideas out of the window and say that, hey, this is not going to work, but you need
Okay.
to be open for that, right?
Yes.
You need to be
Gotta have a
open for
thick
that
skin.
criticism. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to have those type of people around me, and I don't remember I hesitated to approach them with a fear that hey, if I bring this idea to them and if they don't like, I may not take another idea to them because they may not like it either. And I was like, no, that's not how things work. You have to go listen to them, even if they are not agreeing to your idea. Listen to them why they are not agreeing. They may have a valid point. So you have to keep your mind open and listen to other people also.
That's
So
excellent.
yeah.
That's excellent because when you do that, then they're more apt to reciprocate
Yes.
listening to you.
Yes.
It's a give and take relationship.
Yes.
It's kind of like being in first grade and learning, oh yeah, if you're
Yeah.
nice to me, I might be nice to you.
Yes.
That's
Funny thing
fabulous.
was, I was listening one audible book, which was not related with any technology, but that lady said one statement which was really true, that God has given us 2 years and only 1 month, because it is telling you listen more and talk less. So
Yes,
that's,
that's very true.
yeah.
That's very true.
Yes.
So tell me this then. How do you balance it all?
So the balancing is always a circus, right? You have to keep juggling your things, your work. But now, if you look at me, I don't work day in day out on mainframe. I work on integration space, but I still have good relations with all the mainframe folks. Uh, I reach out to them just to understand, hey, is there anything new that is in 𝗖𝗍s? What version we are running? Any cool new features coming out? So I always keep asking them, hey, if there is anything, I want to know. Whether I use it or not doesn't matter. I want to know. I may do some research just to get little more idea about it, so that if I have to talk about it, I should be able to say 2 words. So I think that is the key. You have to keep your relations good, and keep approaching them and keep learning from them. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. And do you have any speaking engagements or anything lined up?
now,
I know that we have Tech Exchange soon. Um, None of that. No,
no,
I know that you stay pretty busy. So
no, I don't. I think this is my first appearance on podcast, so uh, I I I I don't speak anywhere else.
you're hiding from the world. You're hiding. I know you stay busy. I know you stay busy. So it's probably really hard for you to kind of get out. But
Yeah.
it would be so cool to hear you speak
Hmm.
and to, I'm just saying, Mandar, it would be so cool. So yeah, just put that in your back pocket.
Yes, I will
Um,
definitely.
but on the flip side of that, what do you do to relax?
I like to watch movies. So if
What kind?
action movies, and on the other side, I like to watch kids animated movies, because I'm like big fan of animations. So
Okay.
so two different ends. One is action, one is,
Yeah,
so yeah, I do that. I like to go around with my family. I keep visiting different places. So that is another thing I do for relaxing.
that's wonderful. And do
Yeah.
you all like to cook?
I'm very bad at cooking, frankly
Don't
speaking.
say
I do know basic cooking.
that. Hmm.
I don't give it a try, because uh, my son doesn't like.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah,
That's just
that's
fine.
okay. Yeah.
That's just fine. At least you get to eat though,
Yeah.
and that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Um, and then I guess what is what is your favorite movie that you've seen this year?
This year, I think I watched one. I have seen this movie before also, but this year I saw it again, which is Pursuit of Happiness. I love that movie so much.
Yeah.
And there is another movie that I saw this year, which is again Hindi movie, which talks about you should not you should not stop because of your failure. You have to keep trying, get up and keep trying, which is 12th. �12th fail. So
Mm.
that's the name of the movie, which is the guy who fails in 12th grade, how he goes and becomes successful in his life. So I
Nice.
saw that movie, and that was an awesome movie.
Is it on Netflix
I think so.
or
I'm not
Hulu?
sure, but
Netflix. Okay.
maybe it is on Hulu. Maybe.
Okay. There's so many different channels that
Yeah.
they get confused after a while. It's like I always ask my friend, I'm like, is it Netflix, Hulu, or Apple? And we're like, I don't know. Can't prove.
Yeah. The first struggle is find the app which is streaming that movie. Second struggle is, do we have a subscription for that app or not?
Exactly. That's right. So, last question. How does it feel being an IBM champion?
It is awesome. Again, uh, knowing so much about mainframe and knowing where mainframe is going, I think that itself is very exciting. And uh, I feel like people need to look at mainframe differently. Uh, they need to understand that mainframe is not going anywhere. It is going to stay in this world, and it will still continue to process the number of transactions that it does today, or maybe more. I don't know. But it is evolving with the time, and uh, there are a lot of things to learn on mainframe. And I would say it's just a matter of time. People start spending time learning those things and understanding that, yeah, mainframe is something different. So
Something different.
yeah.
I love it. That's wonderful. Do you have any shout outs? Anyone you'd like to say hi to, thank?
First of all, John Carr, for
We
introducing
love John.
myself with you and uh, giving me this opportunity. So shout out to you for hosting me on your podcast. But on like, I definitely want to give a shout out to a few my colleagues, uh, like Mike Babcock. He is our system engineer, awesome guy. Rick Brooks is another system engineer. He's awesome guy. My manager, uh, Kevin Ashliman, he's too good guy. And I would like to say I was lucky enough to work with uh, some of the awesome people. List is too big. I can, if I start taking names, we may need another half an hour at least. So, but I just want to say, like, if you have those mentors in your life, I think you will definitely be successful.
I love that. I love that. It's just really nice to hear the names of the people that have poured into you
Mhm.
and given you the wisdom that you needed to give back to other people. And you definitely have given a ton,
Yeah.
Mandar. And like I said, like the video that I created, it's true. You are a superhero.
Okay.
And I know you keep saying that's not true, but it's true. And all of those people have really just helped to change mainframe for the better. And with all of them and you uniting, it's just amazing what mainframe has become. And we really thank you, Mandar. Thanks so
Thank
much
you.
for coming and giving us your time. And thanks to your family for allowing us to have you for this short period of time on today. It's been really amazing.
Yep. It was awesome for me, like I said, this is my first podcast, so
Unbelievable.
I was like, okay, how do I present myself? And I think you made it very easy, because
Oh,
the way you ask questions, and so I think overall experience for me was awesome.
oh, well, thank you, Mandar. Look, we're live, and you're just the nicest person. I really, I really appreciate you. I will go ahead and park us right here. I appreciate you so much, and this will go on YouTube, and everyone can see. And you are more than welcome to share with anyone. And please come back with any news that you have, and anything you'd like to share. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
having me. Thank
And
you.
you guys, listen, we have had the time of our week, of our month today with Mandar Panse. And listen, we are so happy to have had Mandar with us today, a true mainframe hero. If you have not been motivated, if you do not have the drive to go out and learn something and to continue to learn about it, after hearing Mandar's journey, you definitely should go out and do something. This individual today is definitely a mainframe hero, an IBM champion, someone that is continuously learning. He gave us some tips on what to do, you guys. Gave us some really good tips. You may want to use those. Go out and learn. Go out and look up what you want to know. Research them. Ask questions, right? We can do all of these things. And there's nothing wrong with asking these questions. There's nothing wrong with researching outside of mainframe. There's nothing wrong with taking more classes. Mandar did that. Let's see here. I have it written down. There was more training programs that he took. There was more college that he took. He even looked into Java and data science and perfected it for his own need. He even went through and really got a grasp, a hold on CICS. And he's very excited for the challenges that he faces and then overcomes those, finds a way to really grasp those challenges and makes them fun, and gets the solutions for all of those things. You guys, there's nothing that you can't do. We also learned that we can do almost anything on the mainframe, any language on the mainframe. There's nothing that you can't do. The opportunities are endless. I am going to stop there. I am so happy that we were able to talk with Mandar today. I hope that you are motivated and inspired, because I certainly am. I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for hanging out with us. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.